All right, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you guys are. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Forex session for 220. So this is going to be a shorter lesson than usual, right? Because I mainly want to review our open positions, our closed positions, other stuff I'm looking at, and then, just kind of see where we go from here. All right, so overall, the positions that we're in, they actually look pretty good. Nothing wrong with them. Overall, our positions that we're in are looking fantastic, and we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So currently we have 8 open trades going on right now, and some are looking fantastic, some are looking okay, but combined we're up about almost 200 pips combined between all of our open positions. So let's dive in. Let's kind of take a look at them. So one open position that we have right now, which we are pretty much sitting break even at, right? We are currently down about 10 pips on this trade, is the Aussie CAD. So this is a sell position that I took right over here, right? So as you guys can see here, I'm looking at this currency pair which has been downtrending and struggling to hold this downtrend line, and then I also have this uptrend line right over here, as you guys can see here, which was uptrend about here, uptrend around here. Now where Aussie CAD is the backside of this uptrend line and also the downtrend line. So that's kind of where I took a little short position with my stop right above. So currently sitting around break even, we'll see what happens here. I'm looking for this thing to get rejected here and then pull back down and continue this downtrend. So now if I look at the 4-hour chart, right, on the Aussie CAD, you guys can see here, it kind of touched that little trend line when we zoom in on the 4-hour chart, and you see it's kind of been struggling here. So what I've done is taken a sell position with a stop loss right kind of above that, and I'm hoping that eventually this thing can get below this uptrend line on the 4-hour chart, and I think that's where we can start seeing some momentum on the downside. So open position right now, we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. Okay, next open trade we have, which is on fire, is looking really awesome, is pound dollar. So as you guys know, this was sent in our private Twitter account to everybody, and we've been talking about this trade a bunch of times in the live room as well as in the private Twitter account. So you see how this pound dollar has been in this downtrend line for a while, and then also recently it's been in an uptrend line, right? So now finally here on this day we got a break above this downtrend line, and then after breaking above we had a nice pullback right into this uptrend line. So you see how it bounced over here, bounced over here, bounced over here, came right back down to this uptrend line and also this downtrend line. So again, confluence point, just like what we talked about. So we basically took it long, as you guys know, in the private Twitter account, posted it right over here before it triggers. We put a buy stop order right over here. We put our stop loss right over here, and boom, it just triggered, popped up, and it's looking fantastic. I mean, this trade was up almost early. It was up almost 170 pips just by itself. Right now, it's currently sitting at about 130, 140 pips. We're up on it. We've already brought our stop up to break even, right? So now our stop loss has gone up from this pivot low to right under this green bar, which is literally break even. So worst case, it comes down, we don't make anything, right? But I don't think that's likely to happen. I think this thing should really continue to push up higher, and then somewhere in this area we would look to take our target. So that's what we're looking for on the pound dollar. Looks great. All right, so on a not so good side, we have a short position going on the Aussie dollar, which was looking pretty good to begin with, but now it's Aussie dollar has recently been starting to act a little bit strong, but it's still not out of the woods yet. We shorted it right under this little red bar that we see here. So it got into our favor, was looking great, and then it started to bounce higher. But there's a little uptrend line here, right? So I'm hoping that this uptrend line, which was support, now can become resistance into this area, and I'm hoping for kind of it to create like a lower high and a downtrend. So that's what I'm hoping for, but it's acting a little bit strong. We'll see what happens. But this is what I'm hoping that it happens, is that this backside of this trend line acts as resistance. This maybe creates a lower high here, and then we continue lower. Now that's what I'm looking for. Might not happen, right? Our stop loss on this trade is literally right around here on the 4-hour chart, like right around here. So we've got a little bit room to play with. You know, it's been getting rejected near this trend line, so I'm hoping that it can kind of get rejected here, and we can start pulling back lower, and eventually kind of break this little channel that it's in on the 4-hour. And I think that is only then is when we're going to get the momentum. So we're going to see what happens. This trade currently is down, down a little bit here so far, but you know, doesn't really matter because that's the portfolio approach that we use. We diversify our trading, we get into a bunch of trades, and then we kind of let the results take care of themselves. So another trade that we're a little bit down on is the Euro Swiss. So Euro Swiss, obviously we saw this nice green bar. We were in it long, right? We got into this long, it looked really good, bouncing off this trend line on the daily chart. So we got in long, you know, nice big move up higher. But since then, since that green bar, it has actually failed to transition and continue, right? It's failed to get any continuation move higher after that green bar. So it's kind of looking like a fake out bar. So I'm still in it. I put my stop loss right below here, right below the 40 SMA, right below this green bar. So I'm hoping it can hold it. I mean, we still have this uptrend. So I'm hoping that this uptrend can continue because this pullback is still only at the uptrend line. So I'm hoping this thing can pivot higher and continue from there. So that's what we're looking for. We'll see what happens. Maybe this thing wants to consolidate. Maybe it wants to do like a wedge pattern, and then maybe we break out. Okay, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, we'll maintain our stop loss right over here and hope this thing pivots here and moves higher, and then we can even bring our stops up. So that's what's going on the Euro Swiss. Aussie CAD, another trade that I'm in. We already talked about that actually. You know, backside of this trend line. So we already talked about that. Sitting at break even. One trade that's back from the dead for us is New Zealand CAD. Right, New Zealand CAD looking good. So New Zealand CAD trade, we had basically shorted this trade right over here at resistance. So see how this area was support, broke down, became resistance, right? So I took a short position right over here on New Zealand CAD, and it literally, if I zoom in here, look what it did. I shorted this trade right under here, right under this topping tail, this little red bar, right under here. And look what this tail did. This tail triggered my order in, so I'm in it short, and then suddenly turns into this bottoming tail and was looking like it's going to stop out. But now we start seeing some weakness here on the New Zealand CAD. So this trade, which was originally down a little bit, is now actually up about, you know, a couple pips. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for this thing to get rejected over here, right into this resistance area, and I'm hoping for this thing to start pulling right back down. So if I go on a 4-hour chart, you'll see it a lot more clearer. So see how on a 4-hour chart, it's like a major resistance zone that it's been struggling in, right? This area used to be support, became resistance here, and then a little double top on the 4-hour. So I shorted it right over here. So it came down, triggered me in short, bounced up hard, but still couldn't get above the resistance and is now back down. So I'm looking for this thing to pull in all the way back down into support. So New Zealand CAD trade looks okay. Nothing wrong with that right now. Another one of the pound pairs that is doing really well for us is the pound Swiss. So this is another currency pair we took on the long side. So we can see here on the daily chart, it's been holding this little uptrend line right over here, breaks the uptrend line, but then breaks right back above it. So now super strong move back into an uptrend, and then look what happens. It pulls back, pierces the uptrend line by a little bit, but then look what you get. You get a 2-bar reversal, almost like an engulfing candle. So it looks like a shakeout. It shook some people out who got out below the trend line and then came right back above it. So just as the pound dollar, we took it long right over here, put our stop loss right over there, and looking great. Looking great on the pound Swiss. This trade currently is up about 80 pips. And yesterday was up over 100 pips. So it's okay. Still up about 80 pips. Basically, the trade on it, if you look at technically, is you got a bull pull, and then you got a bull flag. So there was kind of like a bull flag breakout or a buy setup, buy setup strategy on the pound Swiss. So that looks good. I actually like what it's trying to do here. It's got a green bar. If it gets a narrow range red bar, that's actually a good thing, because then maybe we can get a 3-bar play breakout. Because the worst thing you want to see on these pairs is like they keep pushing up, because then they get extended and then the pullback's hard, right? So it's okay. It's putting in this nice little bar here at little resistance, and hopefully we can get another 3-bar play green bar to kind of go higher here. But the trade looks good. We can't lose on this trade. We got in here, put our stop loss there. Now I've actually brought my stop up to break even. So worst case, I don't make anything. And that's the good part about it is, and that's what we're doing recently. We've been getting in stuff. We've been getting our stops to break even and trying to get free trades. If they work, they go, awesome. We'll make a good amount of money. If they don't work, don't go, who cares? We're break even on it. Doesn't matter. All right, so those are the open positions. I got one last trade we're in. I want to review, which again is looking great. We were up 90 pips on it yesterday. Right now, we're still up about 70 pips on it, which is the euro pound. So this was a textbook 3-bar play and a sell setup. So you see here on the euro pound recently, you've been in this downtrend, right? And then you get this little sell setup, right? People try sorting the sell setup, but then look what you got. You got a retest off that sell setup into resistance, right? So what you got is like an M-top pattern, right? Like, how some people try and short sell setups and then it stops them out. That's what an M-top is. It stops the first people out who try shorting here, does a little M-top, and then we, push back down lower. So this was kind of like an M-top. Some people tried shorting it here, expecting this to be lower high, bounces up again, stops hunts, stops them out, right? Takes out the weak hands, and then M-top happens. And look what happens. When the M-top happened, look what it did. It broke out above here, right? Stopped all the other people out who are not looking for the M-top. And then look what happened. We got a bear engulfing bar that broke through this little mini uptrend line that was forming on the daily chart. And then look what you got. After that bear engulfing bar, what we got is a narrow range bar, right? So this is a textbook setup. People always tell me, oh, Anmol, your strategies, the 3-bar play, it works great on stocks. Does it work on Forex? Well, you can see, works in anything because it's not about strategies. The strategies that are taught in the PTS course and the Forex course, the same strategies work anywhere. You can use the same strategies to trade stocks. You can use the same strategies to trade Forex. You can use the same strategies to trade crypto, Bitcoin, Indian stock market, Canadian stock market. Like, it works everywhere, because when I used to live in India, many years ago, I used to trade the Indian stock market using the exact same strategies, right? I traded Bitcoin a while back, exact same strategies, Forex, exact same strategy, futures, S&Ps, right? Stock market, the strategy is all the same because it's about pattern. It's about price action. So same over here, we shorted it right under this 3-bar play. Right, sell setup. So again, multiple things. Sell setup, M-top, break of the trend line, bear engulfing, 3-bar play. We shorted over here, put our stop loss over here. It dropped down, and again, same thing. I've already bought my stop to break even, and the reason I did that is because of this. This trend line is a little bit scary. See how this trend line on the euro pound, right? You see this? This was a downtrend line, right? And you broke through it, came back down, went back above it, and now you're at the backside of that trend line. So this trend line, which was resistance, could act as support. So that's the only reason I brought my stop down, because I don't want to, lose on this trade. So I've already brought my stop down from here to over here, so that's that. And I'm thinking about it. We'll see what happens today. I like that it tried to go up today and then failed into topping tail. So if we go on a 4-hour chart, I like what it did today. I like the fact that, see, it came down to that trend line just like it did here, right here, bounced, came back down here again, tried to bounce, right, and then now it's failing again. So I actually like that, right? I actually like what it's doing, because what I would like to see is this thing to eventually do something like this and then break down, right? Break down under this trend line, and then I can lower my stop loss right above here. So we'll still lock in profits. So that's what I'm looking for. Again, as long as it's in a 4-hour downtrend, I don't see any reason to get out. As long as it's in this 4-hour downtrend line, we'll stay in this trade and see if we can get lower prices. So those are the open trades, right? We don't have anything else open. The USD Swiss franc, obviously, as you guys know, trailed out. Too sad. We got into this trade right over here. We put our stop loss right over here. And USD Swiss moved up nicely. We're up 120 pips or something. Looks awesome. And then I raised my stop loss to plus 50 pips right over here. I saw this little red bar reversal. So I raised my stop loss plus 50 pips, and I got taken out for a 50 pip gain. So not a big gain, only 50 pips, but it's pulling back now. So what we can do is we can look for something like this now. Either buy a pullback somewhere close to here with a stop loss same way down there and look for it to break out, or you wait. And I think waiting is a better thing to do, because look at this major level on USD Swiss. So there's no surprise it stopped there. Like, nobody should be surprised that, oh, why did USD Swiss stop there? Well, look to the left. It's been stopping here for like 3 years, right? So there's no surprise it stopped here. So I think a breakout above there is going to be solid long-term trade, really, right? Breaks out about above like 1.01, buy the breakout, because this hasn't broken out since like 3 years. So once it finally breaks out, I think it could get something big. Look at the weekly chart here, struggling here all the time. So and look what it's also doing. It's getting to that breakout level, right? But the buyers are stepping up. The buyers were here first, and the buyers showed up here, and the buyers showed up here. It's also creating an uptrend as it goes into the breakout level. So sooner or later, this pattern is going to get tight and it's going to explode. It's the best way to think about it is like a spring, right? So there's like a spring coil here. If you take both your hands, or both the palm of your hands, and you squeeze tightly into a spring, and then suddenly you let your hand go, what happens? Boom, it explodes. So same thing here, coiling. It's getting tighter, 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 tighter. Sooner or later, it's going to kind of go, right? It could even go like this, right? It could break the uptrend line and go down. I mean, anything's possible. But that's something for long-term trade we can keep an eye on. But for now, that's kind of the open trades. I don't really like a whole lot of stuff here. A couple stuff that we were looking at, let's take a look at it, is we were looking at the US dollar South African rand. Man, look at that. Like, we talked about this yesterday. Now, I personally don't trade this currency pair, right? Like, I personally don't trade the US dollar rand. It's just not a currency pair that I like to trade. But we talked about this in yesterday's session as a short opportunity. Look at this. Brilliant, right? Brilliant, right? We literally talked about it yesterday that, hey, USD Swiss franc short it when it comes into this trend line, right? And look what's happening. From 1438 is down to 1396. Quick move down, and this thing could actually continue all the way down. So we'll keep an eye on it, So nice trade. Yeah, good job. You got it? Sweet. Good job, good job. Yeah, I mentioned this in the room yesterday, so I'm glad you guys got it. Good stuff there. All right, so USDZAR, and what was the other one we were looking at? We were looking at the pound Aussie, right? Looking at the pound Aussie, that's still looking all right. Again, we were looking at it as like a short-term day trade. Still looks okay, but I'll stick to what I said yesterday, which is if it breaks above here, buy it long, right? Breaks above here, buy it long, give it a stop loss down in here, right? Because it's going to be like a wedge breakout. So, but you have to wait. Don't buy it here. Have to wait till it actually gets above here. That's one way you could play it. Or the other way, if you want to do like a short-term quick scalp, is you short it right under here with a stop loss right over here, and then simply look for a move back down into this trend line. But it's in this pattern on the daily chart. This uptrend line has been super strong. We've had awesome trades. All of last year I've been kind of buying this thing right down here. Right now it's got this little downtrend line. So it's gonna, again, coiling pattern. It's gonna move one way or the other. So two ways to play it. One way is to, obviously buy it above here, stop down there, or you short it basically where it's, under today's candle with a stop down here, and just look for a little move back down here. But here's again another example of the strategies that we teach in the courses. Buy setup, right? Bottoming tails, buy setup. Look at this. Turnaround bar, bottoming tails, buy setup. Look at this. Buy setup. So all these strategies are in the course. So you guys gotta kind of focus on that and really make sure you guys are learning. Because I mean, again, you could follow my trades and you could do well with it, but it's not a good strategy. All right, look at the USD Swiss. So USD Swiss also doing pretty much what we talked about, which is it created this downtrend, rallied into the 40 SMA, came back down lower, right? So lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So it's in a downtrend, and then so this bounced back up into the 40 SMA. But look what the 40 SMA is doing. 40 SMA is like, hey, I'm not gonna let you go higher. It's like literally holding it and like pushing it down, right? And that's what happened here. And again, we talked about a potential short into this area, and the USDCAD has dropped significantly from that point. Now, here's what I would like to see. This would be like a nice pattern, is if USDCAD can stop going lower kind of just stop right over here and then create like an inverse head and shoulders, that would be nice to like buy it above the 40 SMA, above this little area, and then look for a continuation to the upside. So that would be like a super nice pattern to keep an eye on. But you know, but this is again something we talked about, potential short into the 40 SMA right over here, tight stop loss right over there, and you're already up 3-1, so looks pretty good. So that's kind of the currency pairs. I mean, the dollar yen, I don't see any edge on that. You know, I don't see anything on the dollar yen right now. I think we're pretty much in everything that we want to be in. You know, we talked about the euro bounce. Euro's bouncing. So I talked about, you know, this is a major support area. Look, we could look for a bounce. Now, how long the bounce will last, that's a tough one. You got the 40 SMA here, you got this trend line here. So first target obviously is going to be here, and then maybe pushes up in here into this downtrend line, right? So probably pushes up in there. But hard trade. So if you didn't trade this one, I can't blame you. It was not an easy trade. So guys, stuff is working. You know, I mean, look at this EURCHF. I did not trade this one, but I talked about it yesterday. What did I say yesterday? My exact words yesterday were, I would love to short EURCHF, but I just have too many open positions right now. But look at this again. See the downtrend? The downtrend's been holding. Right? We talked about shorting it into this downtrend line right over here, and boom, it's right back down. This trend will continue until it'll end. So EURCHF's looking great if you guys got that. I mean, everything we're mentioning has been doing a pretty solid job. EURCHF, we mentioned short side, looking great, right? USD Swiss Rand, we mentioned short, that's looking great. Everything's looking great. Oh, I forgot about other open position. We're also in the also in the Canadian Swiss franc. So Canadian Swiss franc, we kind of got in above here. You put our stop loss down in here. Again, this trade moved up 100 pips in our favor. Looked great. I didn't take any profits though because I want to see it go higher. And then it pulled back to our entry price, and it went back up again, and it went back down again, and it's kind of going back up again. So right now on this position, we are not up that much. We're only up about 40 pips. You know, we're up 40 pips right now, but the trade looks good. You know, this is doing exactly what I wanted to do, which is it had a strong move, and now it's consolidating, trying to form kind of this wedge pattern. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see it do something like this, hold up here, and then kind of push higher, right? So that's what I'm looking for, because the next level of resistance on the Canadian Swiss is actually right around 0.77, right? 0.77 is kind of where the next major resistance is. So, you know, that's why I didn't take my profit here. Why should I take it early when it could kind of go up in there? So that's what I'm looking for, to get it push up into that area, and then that will be a nice trade. So that's open positions. All right, I'm going to keep it short today. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll keep you posted. We'll come back at it, another session tomorrow, and I'll keep you posted on the private Twitter. Take care, guys.